It's like,
Well, to me, a professional athlete is
Have fun and enjoy the ride. Action, action.
Well, we're gathered here around this table to do something a little bit different, something that we've all kind of maybe wanted to do, but we're going to start with this. This is the But Different podcast. You know, same, but different. So I'm Peder. I am the director and executive producer of Same. And to my right, I have...
I'm Logan Schneider. I am the co-director and producer of Same too.
cool. And I am GetItGary. My name's Garrett Hunting. I'm co-founder and athlete in the production. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. There's a lot of things that kind of circle, and we're gonna cover some bases today. So
yeah, I mean, we have these conversations all the time that really get in depth about the way we're feeling about the state of the action sports industry, about being on the production side of things, and then there's I think there's a lot of emotion in how you're feeling when it comes to being an athlete in the action sports or in the stunt riding scene. So, yeah, I think that's kind of what stemmed, the want to do a roundtable kind of conversation. I think people will benefit from people kind of talking about these things and sharing their emotions. So, to kind of kick things off, what was your vision with Same? I know that you guys both worked on Same 1 before I ever came into the equation. So what was your initial pathway and kind of thought process in creating this movement?
Man, that's a kind of a fun question, because initially this stemmed as like a really quick idea, right? Like, I was traveling across the country, been filming events. That's where Logan and I met. We met at filming Harley events, and I was getting ready to go to the biggest Harley event of the year. Head out to Sturgis, and on my way to Sturgis, I had offered a deal on like a quick turnaround video. And I reached out to Gary because I knew I was coming through Salt Lake City. We've always wanted to work together.
you want to say who that deal was?
Who that deal was?
Kobe Raha? Is that the one? The one?
Yeah, we were trying to go out there and shoot that Kobe Raha, the world record breaking jump that he did on the Harley Davidson, which was like,
Insane.
something. Yeah, it was like, kind of got to be there for that, And so we made that cross trip journey, and like I was light on gas. I needed gas money. I wasn't making a lot of money being out there. So I offered like a really cheap deal. And the really cheap deal was like a 1-day shoot for, I think it was like $150. Just help me with gas. I'll get you dialed out. We'll move on. Reached out to Gary because I was like, I'm coming through Salt Lake. I want to work with you. You want to work with me. Like, here's a sick opportunity to do something cheap. And I like pass it off. And Gary was like, yeah, dude, let's do something. Come through Salt Lake. And what was it? A few days before that, we're trying to figure stuff out. And I asked him randomly in a text. I was like, yo, dude, do you know a mountain biker?
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I got my boy Johnny, And so shout out Johnny. But we kind of just rolled with it. And that's where the idea started spinning, is we want to take a bunch of action sports from a bunch of different, industries, because it's same. In the action sports world, we're all out there for the same reason, doing it. Most of us, 90% of us, are doing it for the same reason, but we are all in just different lanes. But all the lanes stay in their own lane, So we had the idea of like bringing these like-minded people together from every industry and then put them in one film.
Yeah.
So was it like a one-off? Like, I mean, I think, the original film took 3 days to film. It was like one location. You guys kind of just came in. You're like, maybe we'll create some cool reels out of it.
Some cool content.
Yeah, put out a little film on social media. And did you kind of think that would be the end of that? Or
I think initially when we were in the middle of filming it, and like, we came up with the idea, and it was a big ask. It was a big ask of my time. It was a big ask of their time, take days off. And it ended up, we had to reshoot a couple things. And in the process of like reshooting these things, I was seeing how dedicated they were to the vision of what I was kind of like coming up with in my head. Like, it was hard. We didn't have a storyboard. Yeah, let's do this thing where we mix these sports because the same, like, that's sick. Like, okay. And then I'm like trying to come up with a storyboard. We're rapping like improv on site. Like, Gary's like, oh, this is my line. I'm like, okay, sick. That's a good line.
It was all improv. It was straight guerrilla style for
Straight
sure.
Up.
Yeah.
And that during the process, I think I just realized like, oh shit, we have a team here. Like, and all you need is a team. Like, we can only achieve so much by ourselves. And that kind of like stemmed like our introduction and like where we were meeting in the Northwest at the 1,000 bike rally for the first time. Like, we just met in my van and started rapping and talking. And all of a sudden we start realizing like we have a lot of the same ideas and we're dealing with a lot of the same struggles. And the best way to progress beyond our personal careers to the level that we want to take our careers is with a team of people, right? And so that realization became so apparent with Johnny and Gary and Johnny's wife, Bria, who
Bria's
came in and
awesome.
shot photos for
Behind the
us.
scenes, all that. It takes a village. Like nobody can do it by themselves, you know? And you need everybody to be on the same page and dedicated to get the stuff done, you know?
And those were definitely the conversations I like. As soon as we met, you know, we would talk a little. We talked a little bit on Instagram, like over, you know, before we got to meet each other. And then as soon as we like started rapping in person, it was like, what are your goals? Like, and you kind of said the same to me. And it's like, well, we both see that this isn't. It's not exactly where we thought we'd end up being, like in the Harley Stunt scene, traveling around doing these Harley events. And although like, for me personally, like it was such a great experience. It's gotten me so far, like to working with companies that I really like. And I'm in the action sports scene. I'm traveling. I'm doing all this stuff. Like I was blessed to like be in that position. I wasn't like scratching the filmmaker itch that I've always had. And we determined as we were talking, like, well, the next step is definitely like building a crew to getting bigger budgets and working with brands that needed not just quickly consumed content, but actual pieces, I guess, films and big year-long campaigns, all this type of stuff. So it seemed like when you guys did Same One, although it started as a fun project, took a couple days, you saw that there was maybe an interest there from an audience standpoint, or even an avenue, an opportunity to change the way that action sports have always been documented. You know, brands put out films that are snowboard films, skate films, FMX films, but nobody's really tapping into that like overarching feeling that people have in the action sports scene. And so there was a little bit of a hole in the market that you saw that you could film.
Right.
Especially in the Harley scene, you know, and me and Peder come from, I haven't learned as much about you, but we come from the action sports world of snowboarding and skiing and skateboarding. And like, I'm sure you're down the same path. And so we know the high production films that come out of those scenes, you know, since the early 2Ks, you know, the early 2000s, you know, and they've progressively gotten better and better. And now every ski film is so sick and every snowboard film is so sick. Like it's hard to find one that's not good, you know? And that's kind of like our vision with the Harley industry, I think, is we want to create something like that isn't just like going to Sturgis or going to Bell Brawl or going to these trips that last a weekend and then it kind of gets forgot about and lost in the algorithm. You know, we were like, hey, we want to bring something of that magnitude and that style to the Harley industry. And like, yeah, Unknown's done it. And like, there's been a couple other people that have done it, but they've done it on kind of more a minute level, I think, where we're trying to dive a little bit deeper into it and have a little bit more plan and, you know, a whole process behind it. So I think it's going to be good to kind of lead by example and hopefully the scene follows suit. You know, by the end of this, I want there to be 10 Harley teams putting out a full length film every year.
Straight up,
you know,
it needs to happen.
Well, it's funny that speaking of the Harley scene specifically, they travel as like these teams, they compete as teams.
So why not
nobody? And there are great photographers, cinematographers in the scene, but it's all competition based. It's very ego based, as I'm sure you can speak to. Absolutely. Yeah. But nobody's putting out like, besides like cool cell phone footage or like these handheld rollers out of the back of a pickup. Like, why is there no focus to try to elevate media to just the next level in that scene?
And that becomes, again, like to answer your question truthfully, like it became the necessity of a team. And we had the conversation. That's what we're talking here. There's all these teams. Okay, well, if we're going to do this on a real level, there's all this stuff happening all over the place. Like, how do we narrow this down to a team? And as soon as I saw Gary was immediately on board for like a bigger idea. Well, what if we take this really short 1 day thing and turn it into a 4 day thing and make like a full length film? And he's like, yo, dude, remember like ski and snowboard films? And I'm like, yeah, dude, remember ski and snowboard films? And now all of a sudden we're like, day one, the vision is clear for both of us. Yeah. What needs to happen? And when we finally got to the end and production was wrapping up, we're like, yo, this needs to happen again. Like, this is not a one-time thing. Like, how do we make this a second time?
It was too sick. And that one was proof of concept. Like, really, it was like 3 days of filming, but really we only filmed for 6 hours.
Yeah,
maybe,
6 to 8 hours at the most.
So it wasn't a whole lot of film time. It was a lot of setup time, and the drone got crashed and we had to like take the rest of the night off and go do things, and like things just happen, you know? So, but yeah, we were like, yo, let's film for 6 months. and make something amazing, you know, that every action sports realm is going to enjoy, you know, from paragliding to mountain biking to FMX to Harleys to skiing to snowboarding, all jam packed in one film, and then bring in even more action sports, you know. So it's like, not only are we hitting our demographic of Harleys, we're branching out and we're hitting all these other demographics and showing that it's possible that we all can work together, you know.
Well, that breaks the traditional mold of snowboard films, ski films, skate films, whatever. Like it's always like very one sport specific, which I mean, totally makes sense. Mm-hmm. But there's as far as I know, there's at least not like a forged avenue for multi-sport films in the action sports world, or like bringing a bunch of homies together and riding together and trying to figure out how do we speed fly and snowboard together? How do we, snowboard and get some Harley drifting in there, dude? Like it's so sick. And you look at what Red Bull's doing, you look at like people are trying to reach the next level and in many cases absolutely are, but how can we kind of fill again that gap in an industry that, I think is there for the taking in a way, or at least like maybe inspire other people to break the mold.
That was the goal. The big one, I think, is it's like, how do we inspire more people to do this? How do we do this more often? So we left the same one before it was even done. Like same 2 is going to happen. Yeah. And then it was like, well, then we got to do, cause then you start thinking about same, but the difference, like, and then you start thinking like, oh, well, freaking kayaking and surfing, same, but different. Oh, freaking, wakeboarding and snowboarding, same, but now we've got, and just the list goes on. We're like, oh shit, we got an idea that's like kind of endless. Yeah. And one of my biggest inspirations of all time, like what got me into action sports filmmaking was Standard Films. And they made Totally Bored. Totally Bored started in the early 90s, maybe late 80s. I think it was early 90s for TB1. Mm-hmm. And TB1 went on to like TB25, TB26. They made 20 some films. Mm-hmm. And that was like a massive realization to me that like, there's a whole
It's a whole franchise. Like we could franchise this. We could put out a film a year for the next 10 years and level up more and more. Start with a $10,000 budget, move to a 50, move to 100, move to $250,000, move to $500,000, move to $1 million, And that's really the goal with this is like, people probably think we're crazy when we're like, yeah, this is what we're doing. Like, and this is the type of budget we're working towards, but like, it's possible. And it can definitely happen.
Like, don't get that. Like, you're fucking crazy. Like, that is so true.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be though, like you can't not be,
Yeah. Even just hearing those words like, oh, well, we started this budget and next one we'll just have more budget and next one will have more budget. When we're already seeing like, it's extremely hard to get the budget that we need for this film. Like we're already hitting roadblocks in or hurdles, or when we were in the brainstorming phase of like, oh, we'll just do same 2. It'll be super sick. Everybody will really like it, and it'll be fun. It's like, well, we're learning that there's a lot of hurdles just in that we need
so many expenses, like driving your car. You just drove here 10 hours from Oregon. That cost a couple $100. You're in your van ripping around. Like we have to pay the athletes. We have to, luckily we have sponsorships helping us, but there's always going to be a lot more, So it's like the more flow we can get, the better athletes we can bring on the project, and the more stoked when we kick down the athletes, the more willing they are to come back and do it again, or just throw down for their part, So
I feel like we're lucky to be getting the level of athlete that we are getting for the amount of budget that we're able at absolute
all hands on deck.
Yeah, it's like we're out here. Like we've been staying out in the desert for the last couple of weeks filming the beginning of this film. I've been sleeping in a tent. Where we've got a little bit of money for food, but we are just out there digging and filming every day to try to get this done and paying the athletes when we're not taking anything home. And we knew that it was going to be hard, it was going to take a lot of effort to get something, especially to the magnitude of the vision we have. We could have done this for free. We could have shot it on cell phones. Like anybody can do it, but we have top tier expectations for the level of work that we know that we can do and the product that we want to put out.
And then the vision we created after same 1, like again, it was immediate. we're gonna do same 20. Like 100%. It was right out before that film was even
we're on to
done.
Something way bigger here.
So our visions are big, our dreams are big as filmmakers. His dream is big as athlete. We are big dreamers. And then it was like, I left that to go straight to Sturgis. Was like, how do we do this? What do we make happen? And then I experienced Sturgis again. I went to another event that was short form content based, doing these quick rapid event, doing this thing. And it was just, I spent a bunch of money being there. And it was a massive realization to me that I was really unhappy with what I was doing. Yeah. And I am the only person that controls my future. Yeah. And when I looked at my team around me, and you and I just started talking about like, okay, well, how do we take our careers to the next level? And I was like, on fire. You remember like at Sturgis, I was on fire, just like, dude, I got this idea. We got this idea. We're good. Like, we're just going to invest everything into this. And then you jumped on full bore. Same too. Like, let's fucking go. Mm-hmm. And now we're learning all those lessons, right? Like, I mean, how challenging it is in every way.
Absolutely. And I mean, that came from an absolute me feeling this need to like, it's like I've worked so hard to work with the brands that I work with and to make the connections that I have so far in my career. And it's like, man, that took so long to get there. And I'm so grateful for everybody that I work with. But then I'm still like feeling like, budgets are still so small. I'm putting in so much effort, traveling so much, like barely able to get it done. And it's like, and then sending emails to these sponsors that I thought were my friends and like not getting emails. But it's just like, I feel like I put so much in, I'm not getting enough out. It just wasn't feeding what I wanted as a film producer. And honestly, what it is being a videographer, which I hate that term. Right. I've always hated that term. I never wanted to just point and shoot my camera. Mm-hmm. I wanted to brainstorm and create something that's going to be creative and beautiful and all this stuff. And so when you came to me with the project, I probably would have taken any project you thought of.
Yeah. Well, I think we were both we were looking for something. I remember driving away from Sturgis being like, I'd gotten a ticket. I got pulled over. I was losing money. I was like barely there. I had gas money, no more food in my van. I'm driving away from that. And I was just like so stoked because I was like, I'm a filmmaker now. Like I'm not a videographer. Like I'm a filmmaker now. I'm not doing this again. And I was just driving away like so stoked to get after same too, you know, like.
And I think that leads into like the passion. Obviously, we're all super passionate about this or else we wouldn't be doing this, you know, this podcast right here. You guys are super passionate about film. I'm super passionate about creating something that lasts longer than the algorithm wants it to, you know? So I want my grandkids to watch this stuff. I want to create something that's timeless, that will last forever, you know, that in the future, in 10, 20, 30, 100 years down the road, they're looking back like, what? Like, these are the guys that did it, you know, like they went out and they did it. And that kind of leads me into like, where does the passion come from? What got you guys into film?
Man, I mean, I guess I'll start off. I've always been like follow my dreams and chase my passions first, like type of person. Like I know, like you and I just met. I grew up like sponsored skateboarder, sponsored snowboarder, and then like that transitioned into like being in my 20s, just trying to be a rock star, playing in bands, like playing shows and all this stuff, and then from there, like. You know, created a pretty like some negative aspects of my life for sure that I had to like just reassess, reevaluate, kind of start over, decide I wanted to start making money and like, you know, being an adult and things like that. But and don't get me wrong, I'm still chasing that passion. I ended up going to school and getting a degree in business because I wanted to be in marketing and advertising. I wanted to work with brands. And so I found a creative way to do that. But, you know, I guess to answer your point, the reason I picked up a camera was always to like shoot my friends snowboarding. Like you create little edits when I was a kid, and then it transitioned to like, we would have these photographers and filmmakers and everybody shoot our music videos when I was in bands and like take promos. And I was so interested in the way that they were doing that. And like, I always wanted to be like, I was always learning and became really good friends with those people. Yeah. And then like, I think I'm going to get a camera. And when I got a camera, I was horrible, man. I sucked. I sucked so bad. And when I really decided to lean into it in my 20s, I had this saying that I would take 1,000 shitty photos every day. And like that was, I would go out, take 1,000 photos and hope that one of them would be good. Yeah, and eventually, and I'm just taking like street photography and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And eventually like I would get that one good one. And that like fueled the passion to go to the next good one. The next good one, you just learn and build. And it's like enveloped my life completely. Like I don't see myself doing anything other than this. It's absolutely my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. So regardless if the money's there or not, this is your passion.
Oh, I mean, we're seeing that firsthand right now.
The other night.
And dude, right now, like we go through these times and I feel like we get ahead of ourselves and we're like, why haven't we got the bone yet? Like why hasn't it happened for us yet? You know, but like there's so much work to be done, and the only thing that is going to get you there is the consistency and actually doing it, you know? And like the more we put out there, the higher the probability of that happening, you know? So like that's what we got to do. That we got to go out and shoot these films. We got to do behind the scenes. We got to do podcasts. We got to do every revenue, every source we can do to get it out to the world as much as possible. And then the right eye see it and the following sees it. And this is the beginning. Like whoever starts following now is going to see the whole process, you know? So it's just about being consistent and getting out there and really, if it's a passion, doing it with your whole heart. And eventually, like, my theory is like, if you do it enough and you're passionate enough, eventually it's going to happen. You know, eventually it's going to happen. Just go do it. Like,
and I want to get into how you got into where you are now in your career as well. But to that point, you've seen a lot of that firsthand. Like you've grown a substantial following as a professional Harley Stunt rider, and as it sounds like a YouTube following, just creating little.
nothing crazy, you know. Like I was kind of like you. I had the iPhone and I was out with my homies, like filming motorcycles and like coming up before I even started Harleys or anything. I was heavy in the snowboard industry, like ski industry, and I was filming my homies that were Olympians and them making full-length films and like making content for those guys and doing reels and like getting good at follow cams. So I can't edit it all, but they call me GetItGary. Like I got the smooth hand and I can get the follow shots, you know? So like I always had a passion for it too. And I watched how these guys operated and I was just like, dude, they just are so passionate that they do it every single day and they put it out to the world. And eventually like, yeah, it doesn't feel like anything's happening overnight, but you're going to blink one day, 5 years later, and you're going to be like, holy shit. Like we just started like that and it felt like so overwhelming in that moment. But here we are 5 years later and it's just like, it feels like you blink and then all of a sudden you're like, man, I had all these opportunities. I did this and met this person, opened this door and had this opportunity, worked with these sponsors I thought I would never get, ride with these homies I thought I would never ride with. And it's like the true blueprint is just like consistency and having passion and just being a good, genuine person as well, you know? So, but yeah, Peder, what's your story?
Man, so like the question is about like where does the passion come from, and you know, like for me, like that comes back to human nature, right? Like I'm an animal. I'm an animal. Sure. Still am. I think we all are, and we're sophisticated, so it becomes human nature. Yeah. And I think human nature is like the people who are born with passion as like a desire to chase that passion. It's a fire inside of you that you can't ignore. And every time you do, it destroys the person you truly know you are, that truly meant to be. It creates an unhealthy living and a mental aspect. It has for me personally, and I'm just speaking from that experience. But through my observations of being around creatives, I think that the people who are inherently, naturally passionate pursue passions. And it's funny because like you tell your story, and it's a very similar story to me. Like I think
all of us are, really. Yeah.
Yeah. I started as I wanted to be a pro snowboarder. That was my goal. I was like, I'm going to be a pro snowboarder. And I was failing school, but my dad taught me how to work really hard. So I knew that like if I worked really hard, I could do anything. And if I let my skill set and my genuine personality carry me, I might be able to do some crazy shit. So I was like, I want to go pro snowboarder. Yeah. Hurt myself, got to a fun like level in that. And then when I hurt myself, like that whole time leading up to that, like, I've been messing with cameras. GoPros were coming out when I was younger, and we've been just shooting random stuff, chasing each other. And then the injury in snowboarding led to my love for music, and I became a music producer and a DJ, and I toured on that and like shared my music around the nation for 7-8 years. And that led to like the pandemic and like live entertainment changing drastically, and me going all the way back to my roots. Like, what do I love the most? Skiing, snowboarding, and like hanging out and filming my homies. And as I got older in my 30s, it was like, I can't shred like I used to. Like straight up, I went and got a job back at my local ski resort to be working the terrain park, because I was like, I'm gonna go back and go snowboarding with my homies. And I was like 30, working with all the 18-year-old groms, like, and they're all rippers, you know? And like at that point, it was like I had already been really interested in the camera, already bought one before I even got the job there. And yeah, I just started filming my homies, my homies that were snowboarding and the kids that were shredding next to me and being like, yo, this small little mountain town where I come from is like, so doesn't have someone committed to just showing that scene. And every time I pointed my camera at something, I got the same feeling I was getting when I stomped a dub cork or when I did a backflip or like when I scared myself snowboarding, riding a ridgeline. I was getting that same feeling looking through the camera and being like, oh shit. And
you're documenting one of those homies that is having that same feeling while you have that film, you know, and it's connected. Yeah. It's sick. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It stemmed into a massive aspect of like the love for athletic culture and athletes and what it takes as a passionate, driven individual to go through all these tough times, to sacrifice yourself to get your reward and whatever your reward may be, which ends up leading into like a deeper understanding of like same, you know, like
100%. And back to same. Tell me about like some memories that or some stories or things that have happened in production so far that have been like some high points and then maybe some low points and maybe some challenges or some barriers that the viewers at home, they might run into when they try to go make a full length film, you know, because there's challenges and there's speed bumps. It's very rewarding, but it's also can be very stressful.
Straight up.
You know?
Absolutely. I mean, I hope at this point, like by the time this comes out, like we're starting to gain this like following because we're putting out like behind the scenes episodes, filming the process of this experience. And although like we've been filming like for years now, we film for brands and all this stuff, it's exciting to see kind of things done on this level. And it's a completely different experience than going out and shooting Sturgis or like motorcycle events or kind of even
you're just standing and filming one area the whole time. Totally. You know? Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, so I think one thing that we're learning, I know that I'm learning absolutely is this is difficult on a level that I didn't expect. And like we tried to game plan every aspect of the film so far. You know, obviously it's like we'll go one place. We filmed this film in different sections. So there's, you know, we can't do speed flying in the desert and then snowboarding. So we have to, it's over many months that we're
in many different locations.
Yeah. Accumulating this. We're all over the place. And you think you approach a destination or an area or an athlete with like this plan that is just going to go like, oh, we're just going to go up there. You're going to jump off the cliff and you're going to speed fly and we're going to film it and then we're done. But then you get there and it's like, oh, the wind just happens to be coming from this way instead of this way. And now we can't do it. And we're days in the desert and it's the rain or the whatever, you know, or, I don't know. It's just, it's such an interesting process to try to realize like, oh, there's a level of malleability you need to have in these moments. There's how amazing would it be to have the budgets that I know some companies have to go out and just like, well, we got to be here. We'll be here for 3 weeks until the weather clears or whatever. And it's like, none of us have that, you know? So that's the first, I think, real eye-opening thing that production has given me so far is the abundant knowing that we can't challenge Mother Nature. And we have to.
So much is out of our control.
Yeah. I mean, but and you gotta, and there's like reassessing the game plan and figuring out. I mean, we got to our first location. I drove 17 hours to be there, and we had an issue with a mountain biker that couldn't make it out and film the section. So I mean, we literally had to reach out to local markets and like find somebody that we'd never met before. I didn't have any idea. I wasn't invested in our film at all to try to like get him on board and hire somebody that would take it as seriously. And luckily we were able to do that, but it's just, man, how stressful was that situation, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the highs and lows are insane of this. Like, I'm going to start with a high because like that makes it really easy for me to like talk about how hard the lows were, or maybe I should do it backwards, but we're going to start with the high. Like we have that segment and then like, it's the moment when we like, I think some of these clips have come up online. So it's like, okay to talk about, in my opinion, but you know, Crew Turley coming in and dropping a 70-foot drop with Patrick Hennessy, their speed flyer, flying behind him. That like, bro, I still get chills. Yo, like that moment was what this is about and why we set out to do this. And the response that Pat gave us, the response that Crew gave us, the response of what we saw in our lenses. And there was a small crowd behind us when we were shooting that. Like they had piled up and we got them out of frame. Like that was the biggest high. Like that was it. This is what we it's wild that was like 3 or 4 months ago with Sturgis, and we were talking about changing this page, and now we're standing in the middle of the desert
Doing it.
Yeah. That was it. It was like, that's that high. Yeah. Okay, here we go. We need to keep pushing towards this, and we need to keep adding this element to the film and seeking opportunities to create that. 100%. And then the low becomes the repeat learning lesson that this takes way more time. Mm-hmm. We just said that we did this in like 3-4 months from the concept to like production. Mm-hmm. We needed a year. Mm-hmm. And to be repeatedly reminded every time we step into production that we didn't give ourselves enough time is like this continuous low that keeps presenting itself. And then the commitment and the passion, and maybe it's stupidity because we just don't work. That's the crazy aspect of who we are. We're just like, we're crazy. We're going to make it work. We're already
doing it. Look at all the greats though. Look at every great. Read a autobiography of any great that ever lived.
Straight up.
They were crazy. They were crazy. Yeah. You know, like
I've listened to so many like business podcasts where people will say like, oh, like, thank God I was 17 or 23 or whatever, and I was just dumb enough not to quit. You know? And it worked, and it totally worked for them. And like, I think about that so often where it's just like, I'm just not going to consider this a failure and just take it as a stepping stone.
Yeah. They're all lessons. Everything is a learning lesson. And you have to look at it like that, because it's so easy to like get down on yourself and be like, damn, this isn't going the way I wanted. The level of detail and we're just swimming in the minutia of this is like, we didn't realize it was this deep or this in depth, and like the details were this crucial, you know, like it's I don't know, there's something about it it's so fun, you know.
We've been learning so many lessons on every step of the way, you know, and like it kind of gets tiring, but we've learned a lot, like, you know, and like I think we've touched on it a few times just in these conversations, like financial aspects of what this looks like and like sponsorship aspects of what this looks like. And so I think, you know, maybe it's worth like looking at like Gary, you have some really great insight because you've been in the sponsorship scene as a professional athlete for a while. Yeah. And here Logan and I are coming in and like trying to figure out the sponsorship aspect from the production side and what financials look like to run a production, you know? So I think like it'd be worth hitting in on just seeing like, how do we go about getting sponsors? What's the best approach? Yeah. How's the outcome? Yeah. What's the failures? What's the successes? Like,
for sure. So basically like, I'm like you guys, I'm super passionate, you know, and when I started in the Harley scene, there was only 2 or 3 of us ripping here in Utah, you know, like me and Corey Easy Does It and Drake 801. There was like only a handful of us like really going after it. Like there were some dudes doing power wheelies and stuff, but we were the ones like dropping back, hitting fender and stuff. But we're at that point, we're like, man, like we could like take this to the next level and get good, you know? And what I started doing was I'd get online and I'd go watch the big dogs. I'd go watch Tallboy and Sea Bear and go watch Reckless and like East Coastin' Boys, and I'd watch Unknown. And at that point, there wasn't a whole lot of Harley content on the internet yet, but I saw that this potentially could be huge, you know? So I became obsessed with it, dude. I followed every single Harley rider I could find. I went and followed all the hashtag Harley wheelies, you know, and I'd study these dudes and I'd zoom in on their feet. What are they doing there? Like I'd message them and be like, yo, dude, like I got this bike. Do you have any pointers on how I should set this thing up? Like, give me some pointers on just like riding, you know? And they're like, go do it, dude. Like, go ride, you know? And that's what got me the most is seat time, putting time in the saddle, whether that be behind the lens or behind the camera. And then not only that, but documenting this and then posting it, you know, and because if you're out ripping, that's great. You're going to get good and you're going to improve. But if you're not documenting the journey and not putting it out there, the sponsors aren't seeing you, the other people aren't seeing you. Like, as horrible as social media is, and as much as like I really don't care for it that much, it has benefited my life so much. Right. Like if I would have never posted anything, I would not be sitting here right now, you know, but like, since I was super consistent and I always posted and I was always commenting on people's stuff and I was always wrapping it up with these boys, like eventually after a year or two, like people would be like, I got people hit me up. Yo, dude, you want to rep our merch? And I was like, dude, what? Like rep merch? I was like, unbelievable. This is so sick. Like people are sending me merch. And then Bassani hits me up. Yo, you want a pipe? And like, I hit him up a year before and asked him for a sponsorship. And they're like, sorry, man, not in the budget right now. Like, we're a rider, our thing's stacked, so we're not taking on anybody. They hit me up a year later. I didn't even hit them up. Like, yo, what pipe do you want? And I was like, what? I was like, that is crazy. Like Basani Exhaust just hit me up and asked me like if I want to basically be on their team, give me a pipe and hook me up. And then, so really it was just consistency, dude. It was just riding a ton, putting a lot of content out, going to these events, doing podcasts, doing anything I could to get my name out there, being in music videos and working with big name rappers and like, just, dude, you will not ever get the opportunity if you don't put yourself out there. So the biggest thing I did was I started sending emails to sponsors. I was, documenting every time I went to the lot, or I'd put up YouTube videos where when I went on a ride, I would just take my iPhone and film the ride and be like, yo, talk to the riders and show their bikes. And like, eventually it's like I said, a couple of years later, I just blinked and then all of a sudden I had all these opportunities and I had all these sponsors and I had all these things. But what it came from was dedication and hard work, being persistent and being passionate, and then also being a genuine person. I've always just like taken pride in that, So I think that's the blueprint to anything you do in life. If you want to be a crypto guru, dive in head first and don't look at anything else. If you want to be a filmmaker, dive in head first and only do that and like focus on that and like just do it. If you want to do anything, literally anything, persistency is key. And it takes a village. Like I couldn't do it by myself. I had a team, I had people around me, I had good supporters. And now I've grown my following to where I have a very loyal following and I have a lot of loyal supporters, And so that's what it's all about, I think,
Well, it's so funny. I mean, we talk about this, we've talked about it before, but you touched on like, man, it's so sick when companies start sending you the t-shirts and exhaust pipes and or whatever, the gear.
When you haven't gotten anything, it feels awesome.
It's a game changer. Yeah. You're like, holy shit.
I'm feeling pro.
I'm professional. And then it's like, dude, it takes one box of t-shirts to change your bio to like professional stuff. Whatever.
Put that on, fucking film me do that.
Got sponsors,
100%. But I genuinely think that so many people like stop at that point. And I think that in Harley stunt riding specifically, you see like brands are now, they're like, yo, we don't really have the budget to invest into like a film like this or an idea like this. It's just so much different than what we've ever, but like we could send you some, I mean, we've had people be like, we could send you some suspension, we could send you some this for your riders. And it's like, that's great. And that's how like this industry is operating because all of these riders are like, well, they won't give me $300 for gas, but they'll send me some gloves. And like, that's cool enough. And like that to me is creating this massive issue in the Harley stunt scene because because there's so many people that are like, oh, some of the best riders will absolutely give that, like, or create a career around getting a box of free parts and shirts and whatever. But nobody, I mean, well, very few people, there definitely are. There are stunt riders that are top tier. I mean, we could definitely say the names, but there is this whole scene of people that are like, oh, dude, I have enough for beer tonight. And like, I can party and like show, like my Instagram makes it seem like I'm this like rock star, but in reality, like I'm running on stoke. And
I'm going to have to call a homie to freaking borrow me some money to get home.
Yeah. Totally. It's a huge ego and facade when it comes to this scene. It's all like stoke and party, but there's so little that I think the brands are able to contribute because so far that's all they need to do.
Well, it's because it's honestly our fault. It's the riders and it's everybody involved in the industry. Is we basically somebody's always going to undercut us. If I go to a company and I'm like, yo, I'll come out to this event for $2,000 or whatever, and I need this, and this, get my room, blah, blah, blah. But then another person's like, I'll do it for $500. Who's that? Who are they going to pay to get out there? Right. Unless they really, really want that athlete there. Like that's what's happening is it feels like the Harley industry right now is a race to the bottom, a race to undercutting each other. Like, and I've seen it here in Utah. It's horrible. It's like, I used to get paid pretty good to ride here in Utah. And now it feels like it's a race to the bottom. Like I'll basically do it for free. Like pitch me $50 or $100 and we'll bring the team out and we'll ride. And it's like, dude, you guys aren't doing anybody a favor, not even yourselves. Like, you are shooting yourself in the foot and you're making it way harder for us to actually go up with this industry, and the brands like on your guys' side is like, you guys want to put out the highest quality production possible and you want to go do these ad campaigns and you want to do these things for these brands, but the brands are like, oh, well, this other guy's just going to give me the content. Yeah, and those guys are messing up. It's like those guys are ruining it for everybody, you know?
Right.
It's so funny how similar, like we're dealing with the same problem. We're technically dealing with the same brands, but it's the exact same problem on the production side where there are people in this industry that are like, oh, we just want to be a part of it so bad that we'll give our product away for the abysmal amount of money, undercutting us completely. And now we can't go to these companies and be like, yeah, are you interested in paying our rates? I mean, we're using CinemaCam. We're completely on a different level, I think, but also like, how can we all be in that same space? Like, I think brands are obviously going to do what's cheaper for them. Right. And that's obviously what they do. But what's sad is the people that are the creatives in this industry that are like really great at what they do, but also like, I don't value it enough to even charge like a livable wage. So like, give me a, just donate on my website or whatever and take as much as you want. And it's just like, you're ruining it. Again, it's a race to the bottom. You're ruining it for everybody, especially yourself, which is so wild.
Yeah. And like, we wonder why this scene has grown tremendously. There's still money in this scene. And these companies, there's a handful of really good companies, you know, and they take care of their athletes. And I work with some of those companies, and I have nothing bad to say about any of the companies I work with because I'm super loyal to them, and they've all been with me since the beginning. Like, every sponsor I've had has been like pretty much since the beginning, you know, and that's why I stick with them, because they take care of me. But what I see with other people is they let the company take advantage of them. You know, whether it be like, oh yeah, we'll send you some t-shirts, like just get us this content. And it's like, dude, don't accept t-shirts. Like, let's get some cash in your pocket. These companies have tax write-offs and have marketing budgets and have this and this and this and catalogs. And it's like, a lot of these companies are taking advantage of the filmers, the photographers, and the athletes. And I kind of like pulled back from the industry for that reason alone, you know? And it's just because like, I always feel like I'm definitely not the best, you know, but I feel like I have a level of professionalism and passion and like a name that I've developed that's worth something, you know? And it's just like, somebody else is just going to come in and, like I said, undercut it and like race to the bottom. But not only are the companies taking advantage of these people are taking advantage of themselves by letting these companies do that. You know, it's like, don't entertain this company if they're not giving you something that's worthwhile, you know? So it can be very frustrating. And I think it goes unspoken and like these things aren't really said, but everybody knows deep down.
100%. I think everybody knows. I mean, we have to look at the things, it's history repeats itself, right? Is the saying. So it's like, we have to look at these things that happened before Harley stunting and see how did these things transition and transcend that conflict, right? Because like comparable skateboarding and Harley stunting, like Harley stunting is in the early 80s of the skateboarding, right? Yeah. Like when it was a rebellious thing to do, you couldn't do it on the streets. Nobody had an idea of
there was no skate park.
No way to professionalize it, make it that thing. So Harley stunting is there. And like, you know, I come from right before I was filming Harley stunting, I was out in Bali for 4 months filming surfing with surf pros. And before that, I was traveling with a professional snowboarder. And before that, it was more snowboarding and skateboarding. And all along these journeys, because I came from being an athlete myself, I was networked with all these athletes. And what these athletes do is they work with these filmmakers or these content creators, and they come up with these concepts, and they bring that concept to their company that sponsors them and supports them and says, yo, I have an idea that you guys want to fund because I've been an athlete. We've helped each other. Let's do something. And all of a sudden that budget becomes funneled into this production. Mm-hmm. Now you're out in Bali on a surf trip and the boat's paid for by the company and you're out there for 15 days filming.
And they're stoked because you're getting all the dope shit for them, and it's going to be a marketing campaign. They can use it for catalogs and websites and their social media. Yeah. And it's like, you're bringing so much more value than just an iPhone clip or, you know, a couple still pictures, or like,
it becomes that legacy, that human nature legacy that we have as humans. We want to leave a legacy. We want to leave an imprint on this earth. And the people that feel that passion and the desire to leave a legacy, like it's so prominent inside of you, you can't let go of it, right? So we're all striving to do that. And the easiest, best way to do that is through social media, you know? So that became like a massive avenue. When I came back and entered the Harley scene, under my ideas and my past experiences, it was like, oh, cool. We can work with the athletes to get budgets and funding to do these content reels because the sport isn't at a filmmaking level yet. Nobody's making those films yet. Otherwise we would be there. So the next step is like, let's get this to a professional level so these athletes can start getting professionalized, paid full time. And so I started approaching the athletes only to quickly find out, oh, you're just getting free gear? Oh, so you're on the AM team. Who's the dude that's getting paid? Oh, there's nobody. Oh, what do you mean there's nobody? Because that's how this progresses. Like, there's got to be these people transcending beyond this free gear is enough for them to risk their life and their $20,000 bike that they build out and crash every other weekend. They got to put fuel in. Their
motors are blown up, new tires, brakes, chains, like
that.
And when you look at that, where these stunt competitions and shows and all these things are, they're at businesses that are using those things to sell products.
To sell those bikes. They're selling those motorcycles in the back
or
the 30 grand.
Or just selling beers at the bar and they're selling them.
But what would those brands have without the athletes?
1,000, and that becomes
Absolutely nothing.
There's a handful of these brands that you look at, like Harley Davidson, and they look at the legality of these things. And there's these other brands that like Buell that approach it like who cares about the legality? Let's just throw these guys on bikes and get it out in front of people. You know, where does this support begin and where does it end? Who's the one dictating the line? Like, do the athletes have control in this situation? Do they have the ability to change that?
That's the thing is like the athletes, like I said, it's a race to the bottom. So that's what we get. Well, if every athlete held themselves to a standard and took accountability and like, we're like, yo, like we're not doing this for gear.
So that weasels out the companies that aren't willing to pay that.
Exactly.
And then allows the companies to potentially that are willing to pay that, because there are companies that are willing to pay and put people on this docket and put people on their sponsorship team to be professional athletes. That allows that to separate. But like that risk to reward factor seems to not be a conversation that's happening in the Harley scene. And coming from the back end is us being media people, we okay, cool. So let's move. We see that there's no money with the athletes. Let's move our direction to these companies. And him and I both, that was a major realization for us in Washington talking is like, wait, you're having the same conversation that these companies aren't willing to pay us our minimum rate because we want to get our foot in the door to work with you and be a part of your team, that you're not even willing to pay the minimum rate because your team is giving you free stuff in return for the free stuff that you're getting. So somewhere like there's a benefit, obviously, but who's benefiting the most?
Exactly.
Is it the athlete with the free suspension, or is it the company that gets free marketing through that and sell?
And all these people are, I mean, the followings for these athletes are skyrocketing. I mean, they're like, even on a cell phone clip, they're getting tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views on it. And that's all funneling directly to these brands that are eating it up. Oh, all this free.
They're pumped. They love it.
Love it.
They love it.
Well, and there's a bit of a catch-22 because you look at these brands that are kind of smaller, trying to build their names that are eating up this free earned media, I guess that you could call it. And then you have these publicly traded companies in the scene. You have companies that all the riders ride their bikes and they won't even touch Harley Stunt riding or hardly touch it because it's counterculture. It's illegal. Like you're basically breaking the law every time you're getting these cell phone clips. So they don't want to be associated with that. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't going to say it.
So then okay. So I think the realization is that there's an opportunity to adjust the narrative and get the publicly traded companies like these bigger brands like Harley Davidson, Fox Racing is
on Harley's part. They've been doing better.
They have been.
Cruise the Original's got a bike. You know, like there's I think Joey 5.5 got a bike. Like Tuszynski got a bike. Like so they are slowly stepping in and giving attention to the younger generation.
Yeah.
And to their point, it's not like they aren't doing massive campaigns with big camera shit and crews and like they're hiring these awesome production companies. It's just not nobody's doing burnouts on those.
Yeah.
sets.
And that becomes a legality aspect. So like that becomes, how do we adjust? What's the next step, right? Like, and I think we approach it from a film mind. Okay, well, we need to transcend
and get permits.
Transcend legality. Exactly. Get permits, transcend the conflict that these companies are having. Professionally presented films that transcend these problems that you're having so you can see value in this art form. I look at athletes and I look at creators and I look at musicians and I look at all of us as artists. Your canvas is a physical canvas. Your canvas is you physically manipulating the bike and an engine with your third-party asset, and ours is our camera. You know, you become one with whatever entity like you're
dealing with.
So why is the value of the art not so great, right? When art can be valued in any way, right? But the only person that dictates the value of the art is the creator. That's all of us. And so it takes all of us as creators of this thing, this new Harley scene, the athletes, the brands too, these smaller companies that are coming in to transcend the professionalism together so that a company like Harley can see it in a more presentable way, right? Like,
what would it take? It's going to take the athletes. Like, you would have to take all these athletes and tell them to, or have them make the decision. Like, yo, I'm putting a stop to the way that the climate or the industry is going right now.
Stop undercutting each other. Like, we're going to hold ourselves to a certain standard. If everybody did that and everybody got on the same page, these companies would not take advantage of these athletes and these film camera people like they are doing right now. Right. You know.
You would hope not, anyway. You think that there could be like a ripple in the trajectory?
They wouldn't be able to,
right?
Because once they're like, okay, well then we're like, at that point, the athletes and the filmers have the control, as we should. We're the ones that are bringing the views and the people to these events and the views to the internet. We're the ones bringing views to what website. Are these companies doing it? Absolutely not.
They should be paying for it as they have in the past.
Why do you go to Odin website? Why do you go to Cardo? It's because you saw one of your boys or someone who you look up to or someone that's sick using it or something. And it's like, you would have never heard about that brand without that, you know? So like, there's a lot more value to us than what gets led on. But like I said, with the race to the bottom and everybody just trying to undercut each other, we're always going to be taken advantage of.
And I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. There's an aspect of like taking responsibility for our own careers that I think has to happen. Like, you know, it's like when we decided to talk and we started talking more and creating this relationship and then having ideas to start our own movements and production companies. That's us being like, okay, well, we don't see longevity in what we're doing right here. Right. Let's pivot. Let's see what else we can do. And I mean, that kind of ties back into same in the aspect that we need to do something big. We need to, and whatever that's going to take, let's do that.
Exactly. Whether we get a budget to do this, the full budget that we want or not, we're going to produce it regardless. And if we have proof of concept and these companies watch this 40-minute to an hour film and they're like, holy shit, like these guys did this with what little they had, like, you know what? They're dedicated. Let's throw them a bone. Let's see how they do with an actual budget on the next one and set the standard for the industry. And then all these other teams and all these other companies can be like, yo, let's produce a full-length film. And then at the end of the year, it's like, then you got 10 teams or 10 companies, whatever, producing these full-length parts. Like when you watch a skate film or snowboard film, and then you watch everybody's film because they're all sick, you know? But look how many more eyes and look how much more value that brings to the industry, you know? Rather than just going to events every weekend, or it's like, and then it just gets forgot about or lost. It's like the events are cool, but they don't make an impact like something that lasts 100 years, you know?
I think we're all trying to figure out how this works. And I know ultimately the only person that we can control is ourselves, right? We can't, and like we have these conversations, we've had this conversation a few times. I've had it with a bunch of other people in the scene there's a lot of other people that see this conflict that we're talking about. The scene is headed towards its own demise. And unless there's a massive shift in the way that this is working, it's not going to last much longer, right? But we can only control ourselves in that situation. And so you see these people taking these risks, I'm going to be honest, like Dre and Bruce taking a massive risk, putting on Stunt Wars and doing that whole element and trying to create something, Bell Brawl, or not the Bell Brawl, just the Brawl now. Like, dude, Max. Dude, like again, these people.
And Max came from the same background we came from. He had the same vision. Like he's seen it, you know?
We all see it. We all have this conversation. So the way to change and the way to do this is to take control of ourselves, right? And that's where Same Too became like this, okay, we're not just doing this for ourselves. And this is for us and the community too, because we care about this. We love this shit. Like I fucking love the sound of a Harley more than I thought I would ever love the sound of a Harley. Like I hate to admit it, but I love to admit it. So like we take it upon ourselves to try to risk that, and like figure out what that looks like.
Well, we absolutely know that there are brands out there that are willing to spend the money. There are production there. Look at Anthill, look at Headstrong, look at Sweatpants, look at any of these brands that are just mind-blowing creative, mind-blowing video production, and just they're leading like what Harley's leading in your scene is they're leading our scene. Totally. And it's the people that we look up to. So, and then you look at like the brands like Monster and Red Bull. Look at what Red Bull's doing. Like there absolutely is an avenue to create beautiful cinematic content and films and ad campaigns and whatever that sells products, that absolutely hooks in and brings in audiences. And so how do we go from these brands that we aren't feeling respected working for, you know, it's like they say they're our friends and then they're not emailing us back and there's all this stuff. How do we pivot from that to get the attention of these brands that are spending the money and value those things?
I took out a $10,000 private loan to do this. That's why we take risks, right? Yeah. Like you drive from Oregon 17 hours one way to make it happen for the segment off, like no cost. You come out on your dime and run tires, pimp your bike out, put this energy in. Like we all take these risks because we know that like if someone does push through this and we know we have the skill set, we're looking across at each other and saying, okay, here's a team that if we all committed, but we all just have to commit. And so here we are, like we all taking these massive risks and trying to figure it out, but it costs money.
It does.
And it takes
a lot of time. And like back to the point earlier, like the more we are consistent and the more we put out there and the more we go shake hands and open doors and create opportunities, eventually it's going to happen. Like it will happen. It's impossible for it not to happen. We're out grinding, dude. Right. How many people are out there grinding like us right now? You know, like there's a lot of people grinding, but I think we have a vision. We're very mindful of this vision. We're very mindful on how the industry works. Like, and I think we're taking a completely different approach than anybody's taken so far. And I really think it's going to make a ripple effect in the industry. And that's what I want to do. I want to change the game for people to just have a lot more hope for the future. And if we can all make a little bit of money like doing this, it makes it that much more enjoyable.
I mean, just being able to baseline live would be pretty nice. Yes, but there's no stopping in my pursuit to like get to at least that level in doing something that I absolutely love. Like I can't go. I mean, I think about going to work for a company that I just don't care about, or like the whole time I'm working 8 hours a day, just thinking about how I could be doing that, and it just doesn't work. So it's like. You know, it means so much to be in the position that I'm in just to be working on a project like this, and to have the balls to break out of the mold, go in a different direction, try to like lead in some way to some new horizon in a way.
You know what's worse than the struggle? No struggle at all.
Straight up.
Oh, yeah.
Like we can sit here and be like, man, this, like it is hard, dude. There's so many roadblocks and barriers and so many things that we have to get over. But what are you going to do when we're on our deathbed or when we're old and we look back and we're like, dude, we had this idea, but we never did it. And you're going to regret that on your deathbed. You're going to be like, man, I should have done that, you know? And we are not going to have that feeling. We're going to be like, dude, we took this risk. We fell flat on our face 100 times, but guess what? The 101st time, it worked. Like it worked, you know?
And hopefully that is with same. Hopefully but regardless, I'm not going to stop until like that point is crossed. Like
even then there's a whole new level that gets reached. It's like once you finish that line, the next line becomes, that's human nature for people that are passionate and like want to leave a legacy. It's like, it's inherent. And so we've started the process to try to figure out, like, we tap in with the sponsors that we know, we tap in with the people that we know, we try to get some financial, because it's going to cost money, it's going to take time. Yeah. So we're like really trying to figure out how do we get, first off, admitted to the mistake. Like we shouldn't have done this turnaround in 3 to 4 months, right? Like we should have had a month to plan this out. And here we are. Right.
A year of film.
A year of planning before we could even start filming, really. Right. Like, and so now we're in this position where it's all hands on deck to try to make this happen, you know, and so we can fulfill this next vision. And I think that's where maybe even the stem of the conversation becomes the frustration of like what we're experiencing, you know, of like that we have invested so much into these brands and this company and this scene, trying to help put it on in a way that we know it needs to happen. And the response has been pretty small. Yeah. And
well, not only with the brands, but it's like how do I say this without sounding like I'm being a victim or crybaby? I don't know. But social media is so easy to hit share.
Yeah.
Like why do we work so hard on something and everyone's like, this is in person, they're like, that's so sick. Like I want to be a part of it. I want to be a huge supporter, but they can't even hit share on your homies, you know? And it's like, dude, are you really my homie? Are you praying for my downfall? Right. You know, like, do you want to see if this is really going to work? Like, what's the reason for not supporting? Like, is it because like you don't want to see something somebody doing something that you haven't invested the time to do? Is it because you don't want to see somebody like rise above you? Like what's the stigma in not supporting your homies, but then you'll support some other people doing something similar that you've never met before, you know? And it's like, I think that's huge with social media. And I know everybody knows what I'm talking about. Yep. Like every single person watching this has ran into this where it's like you work really hard on something or like, but you can't even get a share from your homie. And it's like, dude, do you know how much that helps? Like sharing that, and then however many followers you like see that potentially could follow along or would like actually enjoy the journey of this filmmaking process and all the behind the scenes all the way up to like episode 10. And then we drop the movie and then we have a premiere, and it's like, it's such a weird thing for me, and I can't really wrap my head around it because I'm a huge supporter of everybody, you know, like if I tell someone I ride with them, you know, and I support those people. And it's like, it's just,
and it's these people that are hitting, like from our perspective, or at least from my perspective, it's these people that are hitting us up like, oh, can you film, this, or can I get this content from you, or like whatever. And it's like, totally, man. Oh, I'll be there. And we create these relationships, these friendships, these with brands and these athletes, and then their stuff gets shared. Like people, the people aspiring to be at the next level are sharing those people at the next level's content. And then you look, you know, we go out and we put so much effort and time and all this stuff into this product. And then, I mean, you know, I guess social media it's going fine, but you see so many of these people that say they fuck with you. And then all of a sudden it's like, where are you at?
Fuck with me then.
Yeah.
You know, like, bro, this is the biggest project we've ever worked on. This is our biggest thing that we've ever done. Like, and the support goes so far. I'm so thankful for the people that have supported so far and the 500 followers we've accumulated in a couple months. And like, but what's going to happen is this stuff's going to, eventually it's going to pop, dude. Like I said, we're going to be so consistent and we're going to keep going at it until it works. And then watch when it pops off, everyone's going to be like, yeah, dude, like so sick, pat on the back, share all your stuff. Like, and I'm always going to remember who supported and who didn't. Right. And like, once the support comes after the success comes, that's how you know, like those people just ride because, I don't know, they ride because they think, I don't know, you know, it's just like they only care about you if you do it, if you become the deal, you know?
Yeah. How did capitalism get in social media? How is it like that's the structure of social media now? Like you gotta get up, you gotta keep getting up, you know, you gotta be the best of the best, you get unlimited freedom when you get there. And it's like this inherent desire for individualism and freedom. And I love that. I love wanting to be free. I like the only way I can do my career is to have that passion of having freedom and being individual, right? It's the same for you guys as athletes and as another filmmaker. But at what point does that line stop for supporting the person next to you? And that becomes the frustration. It's like, I look at numbers, you know, it's like, we're here, we're doing it. We're trying to make a business work. We're trying to invest time, energy, and money into these things. So there's got to be some return. So you look at numbers never lie. And it's like, how do we have collectively like almost 40,000 with the other athletes? We're looking at close to like over 400,000 people in our network. Really is like what is in our pitch deck. There's over.
They can all compound.
How do we have 400,000 of as a network, as a group, as a collective, and we're only getting 500 and you know, it's like, why is that line being drawn? And what we're going to keep pushing to try to keep leveraging as much as we can and getting it in front of people, investing money in promotional ads to try to get it in front of other people, because it seems the response that we're getting is more likes and follows from people that we don't even know that just seen our ad on Facebook.
Well, and that's it, you know, I hate to always harp on like the numbers thing, the social media thing. It's like, well, you know, But I think that what you just said is kind of accurate. We're going to reach our audience, and unfortunately, you wish like all your homies, your family,
your audience,
could be your audience.
Straight up.
But there's so many. I have even friends that like I'll share something. They're like, "How long have you been working on this?" It's like, well, their algorithms are just showing them different stuff. I guess. Like, and it's we can just try our best. And again, it's to your point. It's the consistency aspect.
Yeah.
Like, it's the point that we aren't going to stop doing this. We aren't going, and like the content isn't, so many people like have these aspirations to do something big or to like to change the status quo, but they put in for a couple weeks, they do a couple posts and you never hear from them again. It's like, we already have a rollout for the next 12 months. Like,
I think that's kind of part of the reason that people don't support, because how many times you get on social media and people are like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And then you just don't ever see it, So I think like a lot of it is kind of just like people sitting back in the shadows, kind of watching, like, are they actually going to do this? Like, is it actually going to be this? Like, and then once it starts rolling, they're like, damn, it's actually going to happen. I think that's when the support's really going to start rolling in.
Straight up. And, like, I won't even take a moment to say that, like, there's a couple companies that took a massive risk on us, right? Like, they supported us without even, like, a couple of them have seen us down the line. A couple of them are new companies to us. Like, they jumped on, like, lo and behold, like, Cardo. Like, Cardo jumping on and hadn't even really seen or met us, right? Has never had just believed in the idea and was like, yeah, dude, we're in. And it was like, bro, like, I'm still getting chills. Like, that moment of Cardo believing in us was like this, okay, we're doing it. Like, I think we all said that to each other, like, holy shit, someone else believes in this. Right. And then
it's a momentum builder.
Well, we're riding that wave of like the few companies that are like, okay, we trust your process. We see that the talent you have, all that. I mean, we're eating top ramen in the desert because of that.
But it was the domino effect that, like, that's why it's frustrating with the lack of support from the friends, because it's a domino effect. When you like it, it triggers to your friends so that they see it and they like it, and then it triggers and it keeps going, the domino effect. Here we are with the domino effect of sponsors, right? Like, Cardo comes in and immediately after, Odin's like, yo, we're in on this. And we get Odin. Like, MFG has supported the scene so heavily, and it's so sick to see them come in on a Harley film and be like, Dude, the cool part about those guys is that they're snowboarders. They come from snowboarding and they got into Harley stuff and they see the same thing we see. And when we first met, it was like, oh, we should make Harley films, like snowboard films. Like, again, everybody is talking about this. Odin comes in, the domino effect keeps going. We got Faded Crew on board. We got RKT Optics. We got Desert Devil. Like, even brands we never even knew.
Well, it was an absolute, like you said, snowball domino effect. It's like we had to show proof of concept. We had to show it because, we're coming at this with like from a few months out of the gate after conception and just we have like the little bit of names that we have being filmmakers in the Harley Stunt riding scene that do these events and we work for these brands. You have a big name in as a professional Harley Stunt rider, but we don't have anything that's like really to ride same on. Like, we didn't have a whole lot. So you said something in the very beginning of this. You're like, this is going to be very challenging. This is going to be hard, all this stuff. I think we can do it. And the thing that makes me think that we can do it is all we need to do is execute. We have to do the thing that we know how to do. We have to shoot the content we know how to shoot. We have to edit it the way we know how to edit it. And it's going to open people's eyes. And we have to perform as athletes at the highest level and nail it, go out and nail it. And people are going to respond to that. And we got enough to get off the ground. And then look at all these other brands are starting to wake up and be like, oh my God, like the content is there. And we're doing it without the massive following. Like, we're doing it at an absolute ground level. And to see brands that we have said some negative things about, like the brands that won't email us back and they say they're our homies and blah, blah, blah. And then we have brands working with us that are just doing whatever it takes because they see the vision at the ground level. And that's fucking massive.
That's huge.
People have so much respect from the ground level, like, and behind the scenes 1 through 10, like we were talking about, like, we're going to accumulate followers as we go and people are going to feel like they're watching this journey. And by the time the film drops, people are going to be like, dude, we saw like the whole story. We saw all the behind the scenes. We saw the film locations. We got to see the athletes and we got to kind of hear, some behind the scenes type stuff. And it gives them like this tangible thing that they feel like they're connected to it, and when someone feels like they're connected to it, they have just as much passion for it as we do, and I've seen that with my following and growing my following, and I have so many people that check in on me and support me, and I'm so thankful for those people. And the same thing is going to happen with same, it's like, as we keep doing it and we're consistent and we're putting out these episodes, by the time the film drops, we're going to have a boatload of people that are like, dude, we've watched every behind the scenes. We're stoked to see the film, you know? And then it's really just proof of concept. And if we, like we said earlier, if we can get this film out the door and do the proof of concept and show these companies what we did with the very little we had, they're going to say, imagine what they could do if we help fund them.
Right.
You know, and then it's gonna take it to a whole nother level. And then this is a franchisable thing. It's like, then we're making a film a year for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And it becomes this like insane thing that nobody could have ever anticipated. But we have the vision and we have the blueprint, and we're 20% of the way done shooting this right now. There's still so much work to do, but soon it's going to be 50% and then 60 and 70, 80. And then we're going to be at 95%. We're going to be like, dude, we're about to drop this film. Well, let's go on a tour. Let's go do premieres on the West Coast. Let's do premieres on the East Coast. Let's do premieres in Utah. Let's go to Norway. And go all over the country and world to premiere this film. And then that's going to grow a whole new following, is shaking hands and meeting people and just opening new doors and opportunities. And all the opportunities we've got so far, just from the short amount of time we've been doing this, like we have a lot of opportunities so far, and just meeting people that are passionate about our project. Those opportunities are only going to compound and grow as they go. And we just have to capitalize on them.
And you got to keep in mind, like, the reason that that's even possible is because somebody like it, and all of us took the chance in trying to change the status quo, trying to change, saw what wasn't working and pivoted and tried to change it. And that's available for everybody who wants to do it. You know,
you got to lead by example, right? Like the best leaders lead by example and help when that help's asked. And that's our goal here. Like, and that's like, that's like the point in the but different podcast is we want to be authentic, because that's what we need more than anything in this world. And let's talk business. Authenticity is the most marketable thing on the planet right now. That's why these companies need these individual peoples, these influencers, these athletes. They need to be authentic enough of a brand to connect with these individuals, and they have to use individuals to do that. So we're here trying to be authentic and transparent. Like, just talk about what we're experiencing and what we're going through, because we know that if we're transparent, someone else will benefit from this. They'll learn, maybe they'll hear our mistakes. Maybe they'll understand that, like, not everything's cracked up to be, but if you work fucking hard enough, you can do anything. And if you're surrounded by a great team and you're a genuine ass human, like, it's limitless.
Yeah. Eventually it will happen. Like, you'll get that bone, 100%.
Dude, and it's so funny, like, to that point, exactly. Like, there's so much to be said about just a person who's not only willing to do what it takes in terms of work hard, but can just have enough business mindset to respond to texts, answer emails, reach out, build the pitch deck. Like, how so many people in either the production space or even the athlete space hit me up with ideas, and dude, they're sick ideas, but they're basically like, here's a good idea. You take that, do everything, and I'll just be there when it's ready. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's a massive financial undertaking, this massive, great idea you have. It's like, how are we going to, and then you have to, like, start figuring out how, what do we have to do to get that done? It's exactly what we did with Same. What is it going to take? Okay, well, it's going to take money that we don't have. So let's reach out, do it, like, put in the work. And so many people, like, it's so funny how people won't, again, do the text back, do the emails, like, do what it takes.
Easy. Communication is key, right? Like, that's the only reason we can be successful as a team. And every time we come to a headway, all we got to do is communicate, and I say this repeatedly, and I feel like I'm preaching to an empty wall sometimes, but communication is made up of two words: community. Community is communication, right? Like, the only way to have community is with unity. The only way to have unity together is open, honest communication, right? And so that's our goal here, is like, if we communicate what we're learning, what are struggling, more people can jump that ladder, jump those steps, and we can help raise the level of all this together. And we can go on to that next phase of making this making Harley stunt riding a professional sport.
Yeah, that's respected. And dude, once we put out this film and everybody kind of follows suit, or at least a handful of teams and stuff, hopefully follow suit, that opens the door to such bigger opportunities. Like, people have no idea. Like, there'll be Nitro Circus. Yo, you see what the Harley industry is doing right now?
Yeah.
We need to get a Harley in here to do stuff while Nitro Circus is doing their thing. Like, and Harleys are just going to be integrated with so much stuff that they're not integrated with right now. You know.
Well, there are teams out there that are doing things on a way much bigger stage than I think the remaining teams are at, and they have this I think a little bit more professional backing, the bigger brands backing them. So there's a way to go about it professionally that people aren't seeing. And you know, I know we're talking a lot about Harley stunt riding in this conversation. That is a massive part of like where we all come from, and a massive part of what started this film. But there's a big, I think, a hole in the market to fill when it comes to action sports as a whole. Like it's so funny that if you're in Harley stunt riding, that's what you're in essentially. Or if you're a snowboarder, you're a snowboarder. But it's like there's such a love and like a massive community in action sports in general. Like people just love the freedom, the thing that really ties same together. And like, we can get into that a little bit. Like the difference, or I guess the similarities in same are the feelings that we get when we're riding. It's the feelings that it's what is similar about all these athletes that are going to risk their lives to do the thing that they love to do. That's like the same in the sports that are completely different.
I think some people may ask us like, okay, brother, well then why don't you just make a Harley movie? Why don't you guys go out and make a Harley stunt film? And I think like in this conversation, like why we chose same is because this is an all hands on deck situation. We're in desperate need of help. And we don't have that help. We don't have the answer. Otherwise we would be doing it. So if we put it in a space that shows everybody else that we are the same, we are the one and the same. All these sports need this. And that energy from all these sports that gain success can hopefully transcend this conflict that we're having, opening the door. And then hopefully what we're doing by being authentic and transitioning into that, right? Like, but it's that goal is to help show that Harley stunt riding is the same as all these other sports. There's groundwork laid out in front of us to how we can make these sports a professional way, turn it to skateboarding professionalism, snowboarding professional, freestyle motocross professionalism. All that shit had to go through this. Here we are to make those leaps and those bounds. And I hope that we can leave a legacy as some of the first filmmakers to help transcend that, to help put Harleys on a screen in a way that needed to be done. And through that process can inspire more people. And maybe the Spike Jones of Harley Davidson is yet to come, and he's right around the corner, and he's going to make Harley stunt films that turn into Hollywood Harley stunt films, right? Like maybe that's us. I don't know, but someone's got to take the risk.
Well, and it's worth saying too, like it's such a counterculture sport at this point, and it's in its infancy. It's like it's becoming big, and I guess it's been around for a long time, but it's still built off people that want to do wheelies down the freeway
and just motorboat boobies and drink beer.
Well, there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of booby drinking.
But look at where skateboarding. It was skateboarding's always been illegal, or well, it grew up being like a
alt sport or
counterculture. This like negative thing, or this like against the grain activity. 100%. Snowboarding was not allowed at ski resorts. There was like so, and now they're all in the Olympics. Like we have like the America skate United States skate team. Like so, it's like I wonder if you look in decades to come, like what are the opportunities for Harley stunt riding? Like, will it ever get to that point? And I don't think it even has the opportunity if people don't start taking it more serious
and be professional.
How do we do that? Okay, so like I think that conversation stems to like, what is a professional athlete? Where does that line start? How do we get more of these amazing athletes to transcend that line? Right? Like, so like, where does that start? What is an athlete? What is a professional athlete?
Well, to me, a professional athlete is, first off, look at a real professional athlete. It's going to be somebody that is dedicated to their craft.
You're talking like Michael Jordan's and like the Phillips, the swimmer.
If you want to know anything, you always look at the great, and like what makes them a professional athlete. And it's like, first off, they're dedicated to their craft. Not just like, oh, I'm going to go do it every day, but even behind the scenes, I'm going to prepare myself so when I do that, I can do it at my best. Like taking care of yourself, going to the gym, like eating right, like doing what you got to do to keep your body in good enough physical shape to do this craft, And then there's another side to it. There's a professional side to it. how are you going to talk to these companies? Can you talk to these companies? Like, are you just going to be like, hey, I ride a motorcycle? And then like, it's like, you got to learn how to talk to these people, you know? And because sometimes the conversations are uncomfortable and it's hard to ask for things, but it's like, you have to learn how to communicate and go about asking for things in a professional way, and not just asking for things like, hey, can I have this? But what can I do to benefit you so you can benefit me? You know,
learn the business side of it.
Exactly. And then, but that goes down every side of it, you know? And it's like, people will say, well, I'm a professional athlete because I got a t-shirt in the mail. But it's like, well, technically you're not even a sponsored athlete. You're an ambassador at that point for that company.
True.
So there's a difference between an ambassadorship, a sponsored rider, and a professional athlete.
Amateur rider. I think you go from sponsored to amateur, right? Don't you go on the AM team and then you work your way to a professional team? Professional team, exactly. Right? Professional rider.
So it comes with time. It comes with discipline. It comes with like,
and a want to get to that next level. Like right now, I think we're seeing a lot of athletes that are like, I have enough parts to build a bike and t-shirts to wear every day that I don't need to push to that next level.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming, and I'm also coming at this from not a professional Harley Stunt rider.
I know
but
you have a really good point right there.
Yeah. I see that in the climate that I'm revolving in, you know?
For sure. It's pretty easy to see like when you're in it. You know, I've been in this game for like 7-8 years now, and I've used to not know anything, you know, and I've learned so much over the time by talking to people and asking questions and talking to these companies and going to the events and filming and this and that, doing the whole runaround, that I consider myself like a semi-professional athlete, you know, like I don't consider myself full pro. A full professional is on the road doing this shit every day, and all the time.
That comes to like a solid line, like, and I hate to be a black and white person, but like skill set and business mindedness and dedication to skill set, like, you have to have that to be an athlete and a progressive artist and someone who's passionate about what you do. But where you cross that line and transcend into professionalism is usually a financial sustainability, right? Like like you are benefiting financially so much so that you don't have to participate in the normal society rules, right? Like athletes transcend our society. Artists transcend our society. That becomes the American dream, right? So now you've entered American dream level, and that entrance is a financial means, right? So with the skills, because like we also see all these athletes that are so dedicated, have put in so much time. They do right, they eat right, they work out, they're on the lot every freaking day. They're risking their life and limb, and then they're learning the business sense. They can talk with these, they're knowledgeable people. They transcend just normal conversation, right? They know what they're doing, and they're still accepting the free stuff over that financial gain to transcend that position, to stop being in that, like, they're frustrated too. They're expressing frustration. Like, I can't get anybody to help support me. I can't make it to that event, when I know if I was at every single event, I could be the next best thing in the scene. Then go to every event, figure out how to do that. Get your companies to do that.
Well, I do have friends in this scene, people that you both would know as well, that do treat it that way. But they're also the ones that don't give a shit about how they look on social media, in terms of like, they aren't the clout chasing dudes. And you know that there are the people that have enough wherewithal to get to that position, and then they just kind of like they sit in the shadows and they create a living for themselves, and they work with good brands and blah blah blah. And but I think it takes that initial, it's letting go of the clout chasing, it's letting go of the ego, it's letting go of social media followings to get to that point, I guess, and just focus on like what is going to create a business for yourself.
Right. And so like I hear that, and I want to like reference the Rob One Wheel.
Exactly.
Like this guy's low key by himself, out doing his thing, traveling around the country, doing paid performances, and having amazing high quality content for the companies that he's working for, traveling in a paid vehicle that's wrapped by the company, you know, all these.
And he's like by himself. He's not on a team. He's not on anything. And I heard a quote once. It was like, you're going to act like a brand long before you ever become one.
Interesting.
And it's like, it's so true, dude. Because you have to learn so much. There's so much to all this, you know, like we haven't even touched the surface yet, you know, and we're like, we are very knowledgeable, and we have learned a lot, and we've, you know, had a lot of ups and downs, and like created a lot of opportunities, this and that. But like, we haven't even hit the surface yet. And like, once you can like put all that into something that you can actually like project and like put into words for other people to understand and talk to these companies, that's when you start leveling up, you know? So like you could be the best in the world. You could be doing double hand drags, hitting your helmet on the ground. But if you don't know how to talk to people, you're never going to be like the professional athlete.
Well, if all that matters to you is getting like the chicks and drinking the beers and partying and doing all that, then it's like, then how are brands going to perceive you?
They see you as unsustainable.
But there's always going to be I love Haldor Helgeson.
Yeah.
So let's go to the monster bracket, right? And you look and like the rock star bracket.
There's a few exceptions,
you know, but I think what ends up happening is like, what's Haldor doing now when he's in his mid to late 30s? He's got a kid. He started 2 snowboard companies, Lobster and their binding company. I can't remember the name of it, but he's went on to learn how to do business to transcend that short-term temporary idea of the party, the boob jiggling and big fun, like the womanizing, you know, like that's fun when we're young, and there always will be a market for that young people. But
for sure.
I think as I look around, this Harley scene is older than a lot of action sports scenes.
It's like the average age, I would say, is like 30 years old.
There we go.
You know?
So as we all transcend and like we look around and like some of these Harley riders are having kids, some of these Harley riders are getting married, some of these Harley riders, you know, like these guys have put in 10 years of work, 15 years of work, dude. That is all they know. Like you, Gary, this is all you know, dude. You've given your fucking everything to this. What ends up happening is these guys that are fucked up talented just get quiet and disappear. Yeah. You know, and that's always happened. But I think that these godfathers of the sport
shout out Jason Poland Stunts.
Like Dom 829. The list could go on. There's East Coasters that I'm not much of an East Coaster, so I'm freaking sorry. But like there's all these people that have put in this work to help transcend the sport, and there's not enough space, and we still haven't figured it out in that time period. Like, how do we do that? And I think that, you know, that becomes a weight that we've felt as like, okay, well, we see this clearly. Like, we want to fix this. We want to help contribute to this. Yeah. And again, it's like, we can only control ourselves. So we're going to take on the path that we can take on as filmmakers and an athlete, creating a team, because we see success in these teams, Unknown and freaking Concrete Cowboys, right? When you look at who's doing it the biggest in the Harley scene, is teamwork, right? Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work. It's lame, but it's a beautiful saying. Yeah. And so here we are to create our team. And so as we, like, you know, we struggle with all this stuff, we're learning a lot about the scene, and we go on, like, what's the future for us, and what do we do? Like, how do we help our best transcend into that professional level, that financial gain and sustainability? Yeah. Can we do it for ourselves?
I like how we're going about it. Like this right here, having a conversation, going over all these hard things, going over these roadblocks and these barriers that we're hitting and all these speed bumps. There's a lot of people that gatekeep. Like they learn the blueprint and then they just keep that for themselves, but they won't share with other people and they won't like show them. It's like on the last podcast I did with Get Vertical with Drea, I was like, I like to be inclusive. Like, be inclusive, don't be exclusive. You have to be exclusive to a certain point, but like be inclusive. And it's like, if you want to see this whole scene grow, don't gatekeep. It's like, let's find out the blueprint, give people the blueprint, and then that's going to get us to the next level. And what we're doing right here is we're being completely transparent. We're being authentic. We're not gatekeeping. We are telling everybody about these hurdles that we have to deal with, and how we're figuring them out, and the lessons we're learning. And then we're going to get better and better and better. And the people that follow this are going to see like, oh man, they were really just like open, honest, transparent, and they were trying to like get down to it, and to like we had to figure out a certain process to get these brand deals and get these sponsorships and make it so we can do this on a higher level, you know? And that's how I want the whole scene to be. I want everybody to win. There is enough pie for everybody, you know? And it's like, people think like there's not enough pie for everybody, but it's like, yeah, with that mindset, there's not, because then it's like so narrow, you know? And it's like, but if everybody like shared knowledge and shared information and helped each other and pushed each other and didn't undercut each other, like this scene would be on a completely different level.
1,000%.
Well, a rising tide lifts all boats. I mean, if everybody's living with this like famine mentality, like if I get a good opportunity, that instantly takes the opportunity out of your hands.
It's
and that's
a horrible mindset.
It's absolutely. I mean, it's just if one person, if the scene gets an opportunity, if the scene grows, then it gives more opportunities to everybody. You know what I mean? So I hope that people take this movement that we're creating, or take this advice that we're saying, or even whatever, take something from this from this conversation, and they want to start something of their own. They see a hole in the market that we're not seeing, and they want to fill it.
Hell yeah.
And there is a lot of holes in the market, but it seems like so many people are on this like one track mind. Like they see what everybody else sees. And it's like, dude, just step out of line just a little bit. Like there is enough for everybody, you know? And it's like, I've learned that. I've had so many different experiences, dude, like doing music videos and I've done so much different stuff, and like that I haven't seen a lot of other people do. And it's like, because I kind of just stay on track, I control what's within my control, and I don't like focus too much on what's out of my control. But I also have always been a person that likes to bring others up with me, you know? Like I'm a social butterfly, or I used to be. I'm a lot more reserved now, you know? But like, cause you get burned, dude, and things happen, and you get burned, and you get this sour taste in your mouth, and then you're like, man, I really don't want to share it with everybody, you know? And so like, I think that's a side of it too, and I can see that too. But I think if everybody isn't trying to like one up each other while undercutting each other, and we all like just throw down on this table and put everything out on the table and share each other's knowledge and information, like you said, like all the rising tides sail all the boats, whatever, you know? So it's like that's huge. And I just want people to realize, like, however we're doing it right now isn't sustainable, and it's not good for longevity, you know? And we want to have longevity. We want to be able to do this for the long run, you know? Like, so.
Well, and keep in mind too, like, it's fun to do this. Like I'm having a good time. Like this is the coolest project I've been a part of in a long time. And I get stoked to put in the work to get this job done. And I'm really, really stoked about the quality of work that we're putting out. Even in the behind the scenes episodes, everything, I like, it's something that I'm so happy to put my name on. And there's an aspect of this that people should hopefully take away, that like, it's hard, but rewarding and fun to go against the grain, try something new, try to start a new movement, and put all your eggs in a basket, you know? Well,
we're here to be authentic. You know, like Gary said it a million times. I've said it, you know, like, Gary, you're such a genuine and honest person, and your engagement from your fan base proves that, right? Like you have an immense following that is engaging with your content because you're authentic, you're transparent. Like, and Logan is too. We're putting ourselves out here, you know, like I am an open book, and I know Logan's here to help too. Like I may give off a cold shell because, again, I've been through so many social experiments in my life that I'm done being a part of them, and that I want to help benefit the society. So I keep my mouth shut, and I observe a lot, and I only speak when I really need to speak. And
it's always valuable when you speak.
I try to speak with intent. And when you ask me a question, my motto for life is I'm happy to help, because I can always do better, and I want to be the best human I can be. So I'm happy to help. I'm not a closed book. I mean, I have countless text threads and Instagram Messenger that's people asking me questions, and like I'm link after link. Here's this information, what I learned. Here's how I learned it. It's all like the day of information is upon us. If you need help to find that like streamline, I'm so happy to help you find that streamline, but you got to work for it. And when you work for it, we're going to be standing next to each other going, fuck yes. You know, like we need that. And so that's like, I'm more than hyped to do that, because I'm going to do that in every aspect of my life. The fact that we get to do it together as a team, and like with a goal and a passion for a bigger vision and a bigger future and a bigger franchise for ourselves and a community, like that is, it's almost selfless, but it's so selfish at the same time.
That's the cool thing. Like what I have been learning a lot in life, and I've hit a new paradigm shift in life with some recent things that have happened in my life, and I've gotten a new perspective on life, and I'm looking at life through a new lens. And I have decided that I don't benefit at all from being selfish. I am miserable when I'm selfish. Where I feel the most fulfilled and where I feel the most gratitude is helping other people. And like serving others and being selfless, you know, and putting on for other people. I love doing something for somebody else and seeing them smile or being stoked on something. Nothing is more fulfilling than that, you know? But once we all can do it, we all have a tendency to do it. Like, what's in it for me? Like, what am I going to get out of it? And it's like, eliminate that mindset and think, what can I do for other people? Because it's all going to come back around.
It's so cyclical. Everything is so cyclical. Our earth is cyclical. It's all circular. It repeats itself. And like, I'm going to touch on this because like we've been having this conversation, but I just got back from Norway, and the drastic experience in culture like opened my eyes to something that I find really interesting, beautiful, and detrimental at the same time, right? Like the American society and the American dream of freedom and individuality is so rampant right now. It's beautiful. If you look at it for the American dream, every person has such a inherent like desire to be their individual self. And at the same time, what that's creating is all these polarizing conversations and all of these, because everybody's so passionate about being individuals and free. When I find it funny because I look at like Norway, a country that's 5 million people spanned over multiple continents, like it's a huge country with a very small group of people. There's actually parts of that society that need community to survive. Yeah. And because that is so rampant in all the rural areas, it relays into everything. You need your neighbor in that country to survive. Correct. You need your neighbor to be successful. We have to support each other. And that comes back to like, again, human nature, community. Here we are talking about the beginning. It's cyclical. The one thing we all need as humans is a community. And that's our desire here, is to find a community. And with so much individualism and capitalism driving social media, mental illness, passion to be you, passion to be free, like at what point do we break? And does that facade wear off because we're old and alone and nobody wants to watch you on Instagram with your wrinkle? Right. Where do we find that peace? Where do we stop that cycle? And I hope that like by creating teamwork makes the dream work. Like, again, this stuff becomes so plain and simple that like the Bibles wrote about it. The rhymers wrote about it. The freaking philosophers wrote about it. We all wrote about it, and they all talked about it. Like there are these core elements that we need.
In different ways.
Work fucking hard, find your community, be a genuine ass person, speak honestly, and we can do anything we put our mind and heart to. And I think that's the goal of same. Like we're willing to take these risks and sacrifice ourselves, sacrifice our community, sacrifice our sponsorships, our relationships to figure out a way to like make this work, because we know that if we have each other's back and we're all committed on the same level, we can do it. We can make it happen. We're going to make same happen. Like we've already, like the gas was already hit a while ago. We're in 6th gear. And now at this point, like slowing down the train is not happening.
Yeah. No, we're rolling all the way through. Yes.
No, I mean, and that's just like super well said, I think. And it describes like the movement that, I mean, like you said, we're not slowing down. And to that point, we have behind the scenes episodes coming out every month, getting ready to shoot. We have so many sports left to go over the next couple months.
Why don't we list off the sports? Because I think that some people just see like mountain biking, speed flying. I think we should tell everybody like, Joe, we've got 6 or 7 different sports, and what are they like? Speed flying, mountain biking, freestyle motocross, Harley stunt riding, skiing, snowboarding, and Formula drift.
Yeah, and we've like we're just
6 sports in one film.
And all these they're not team sports, these are all individualistic pastimes. So these are all things like, and this could go down into another wormhole, but we could probably hit on it on another episode. But it ties into mental health, and it's like individualistic pastime. The reason why we all are so attracted to this is because we want something. We don't know what it is, but we know that this shit makes us feel good. Like when we're in the flow state of mind, when you're not thinking about the present or the past or the future, and you're solely living in the present, that's the flow state of mind. And that's what every single one of these action sports athletes lives for, is living in that flow state. And it's like, that's where we're all so similar, and we all share that same exact thing. And it's like, it doesn't have to be skateboarding or surfing or snowboarding. It's like, it's all of it. We all do it for the same exact reason. And we can go way deeper on it on another podcast, but like the individualistic pastime sports have the highest suicide rates. Why? I don't know, but I want to find out.
And I have like invested a bunch of time into research, but I think that that's like such an opportunity about this podcast, is that there's so many similarities to talk about, and this gives us an opportunity to talk about it. Mental health is something that we're all really passionate about because we've experienced it. We're passionate individuals. And so that's like this sets up perfectly for that next episode to like dive deeper into what are the similarities in the action sports and why we love them so much. But you know, that's the joy in being able to be creatives and have this opportunity in front of us. Like this is same, but different podcast. We're here to try something different and we're here to push something different if we can. And we're really excited to bring everybody else along on this journey. I don't know. How do you guys feel? Do you guys want to wrap it up and give some love to some people?
Yeah, I think we should. I think we've covered a lot of really good topics and we've done pretty good at diving into most things. We obviously will have more future episodes that come out and we cover things a little bit more in depth. But yeah, I think we should cover, you know, thank the sponsors and thank the supporters and thank everybody that's, you know, tuning in and doing and showing some love and some support. And the following's only going to grow. And I hope everybody sees these behind the scenes and gets stoked for the build up to this film, because the film's going to be insane.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want to plug social media, same.mov on social, and then same on YouTube. We are going to, we've already been uploading, like I said, the behind the scenes series to our YouTube. And then there's a lot of content that we're brainstorming that's going to be going on there as well. It's going to be stocked all the time. So,
and we also have a TikTok. Like we have a TikTok. It's doing pretty good. TikTok's hard for an old dude. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, TikTok. And we have Facebook. I know that like some of us are old school Facebook diehards, but we have a Facebook too. We have a TikTok. We got a YouTube. We have an Instagram. I think right now those are the 4 platforms that we're on.
And now we have a podcast.
And now we have a podcast that'll be on YouTube. Hopefully we can start putting this on like if this responds well and you guys are into this, like there's no reason we can't put these on all the streaming platforms for podcasts. I know how to do that. So whatever you listen to your podcasts on. So like, I mean, first and foremost, I really want to give like massive love to Cardo, and Odin, Faded Crew, RKT Optics, Desert Devil, I think that's it, right? The 5 sponsors.
That's it for now. And we are absolutely open. We need more sponsors. We're constantly reaching out to brands. If you want to work with Same, if you want to be a part of this, if you see value in this, reach out. You can reach out to Peder Levold. I think it's
Peder, Logan, myself.
We'll put our email contact here so you guys can see it and reach out, because I think that that's important, that everybody has an opportunity to reach out to whoever they're connected to. We're going to grow and we're all going to become homies anyway. So just reach out, man, if you're interested.
And then also if there's a, if you guys want us to come premiere the film, you know, like at your home state or your hometown, let us know and let's line it up. Like, let's get this premiere tour like sick, you know, like it would be super sick to do just like 10 stops. Right now we're planning on 4 probably.
Yeah, right. I mean, even right now it's like we're going international, baby. We're looking at going to Norway for a premiere. We got a stop in Canada already. We're talking about Bellingham, Washington. We're talking about Salt Lake City. Like there's so much space in between that we want to fill the slots. Like it'd be sick to have a 10 stop tour nationwide around the worldwide, right? Like we're going international, baby. Why not? I mean, if someone is in Japan listening, like, we're open. We need help. This is, again, an all hands on deck sort of situation. Like we are going to continue to do what we do, but we are happy you are willing to help. And we're happy to help in return. There's a lot of opportunities here. We have a lot of media and pitch decks and information and stuff to share with anybody. So I think, this feels really good for the first episode.
And if you tuned in and you watched the whole thing, like, thank you so much.
If you're still here right now.
We appreciate you so much.
And like, I know this is lame, but we got to do it because this is the way the algorithms work. Like the video, subscribe to the video, comment on the video, like
share the video.
I hate to say it, but we are paying attention. We need as much help as we get. So like, if that's enough weight for you to be like, oh, you notice I didn't freaking hit the button, hit the freaking button because it matters. We're so thankful for everybody. Like the reason we even have taken this risk is because of the support we have up to this point from friends, family, clients, sponsors, all the above. Like you guys have done so much to push us to this next level. We're just crazy enough to like appreciate it.
And we're going to do it whether we have support or not. But it's a lot easier to do if we have support. So that was a great podcast, guys.
Thank you guys for joining us. This has been the But Different podcast, and we'll see you fucking next time.
Have fun and enjoy the ride.